Rain claws at the windshield like it wants in. I lean forward over the steering wheel, my knuckles white where I grip it. The wipers fight a losing battle, smearing water and mud instead of clearing it. Headlights carve two shaky tunnels through the dark, not enough to show more than the next blind curve of the mountain road. Come on, I whisper to the car, to myself, to whatever is listening. The dashboard clock blinks 1:17 a.m., a pulsing reminder that I shouldn't be out here alone. Not in this storm. Not on this road that locals swear goes missing under the wrong moon. Thunder rumbles against the bones of the world. My ribs shudder with it. You should have stayed. The thought is poison, familiar and cruel. You could have just smiled, pretended, taken the ring, said yes, like everyone expected. I swallow hard and push the gas a fraction more. The engine complains. The road curves tighter, hugging the slope, the forest dropping away into a black gorge on my right. I can still see my mother's face under the chandeliers, frozen in that mix of horror and fury, as I yanked my hand out of Jason's and said, "No." The silence that followed was worse than any storm. "You're being dramatic," she'd hissed once we were alone in the hall. "This is your chance, Arya. After everything Jason's family has done for us. For you," I'd corrected. "Not for me." Her nails had bitten into my arm, a reminder of why I kept my sleeves long. "You ungrateful child. You think anyone else will want damaged goods? You think you can just run off and magically be okay?" So I ran. I left the glittering ballroom, the suffocating expectations, the carefully curated version of me. They paraded around like a refurbished antique. I didn't even change out of the pale blue dress. The storm had rolled in as if summoned, swallowing the town, chasing me up the mountain road toward the only place that ever felt like mine, the old cabin my grandmother left me, the one my mother called a rotting mistake in the woods. Lightning forks across the sky, sudden and violent. For half a heartbeat the world goes white. That's when I see it. Eyes, too high off the ground to be anything human, too wide apart. They flash in the beam of my headlights. Two shards of silver burning in the rain. A massive shape fills the road. Fur dark as the storm. Shoulders higher than the hood of my car. A wolf, my mind supplies. But that's wrong. Wolves don't get that big. They don't look at you like they understand exactly how fast your heart just jerked into a sprint. Time snaps back into motion. I slam my foot on the brake. The car skids, tires screaming as they lose grip on the slick pavement. The world twists sideways. The guardrail rushes toward me. And then there is no guardrail, only the nauseating sense of weightlessness as the car breaks through. I can't even scream. The sound gets knocked out of me as we drop. Branches slap the sides of the car, shattering glass, tearing metal. Something cracks against my skull, a white-hot explosion of pain. I taste copper, thick and metallic, flooding my tongue. The world flips again. We slam to a stop with bone-shaking force. The airbag punches me in the face late, useless. My ears ring. The only sound is the hiss of the engine and the storm roaring somewhere above, muffled by the canopy. For a long moment, I just breathe. In, out, shallow and wheezing. I'm alive. I blink, or try to. One eye won't open fully. Warmth trickles down the side of my face, staining my hair. "Okay," I rasp. My voice is alien, distant. "Okay, Arya, move." The seatbelt cuts into my chest like a cruel embrace. I fumble with the buckle, fingers slick. The metal finally releases, and I slump forward, gasping as pain spikes through my ribs. Everything hurts. Neck, shoulder, head. Old injuries laced with new ones. Pain. Layering pain. The driver's side door is caved in against the earth. The windshield is a spiderweb of cracks. The passenger side window is gone. Rain needle prickling my skin. Cold slices through the fog in my skull. The car smells like gasoline and blood and burned rubber. Not good. I drag myself toward the passenger side, glass crunching under my hands. Every movement sends shockwaves through muscles that already remember what it's like to bruise. You're not back there, I tell myself. You're not. No one is going to. A branch snaps outside. Not above. Close. Too close. The hair on the back of my neck rises. I freeze, halfway across the console, heart thudding so hard I can feel it in my teeth. Hello? The word is a breath, then a cough. No answer, just rain, wind, the restless rustle of leaves. And then, it's there again, that feeling like being watched, like a weight pressing between my shoulder blades. I twist, biting down on a groan as my ribs protest. Through the shattered window, I see only darkness at first. Trees looming like hunched figures. The faint glimmer of water streaming down bark. Then the darkness moves. A shape steps out from behind a fallen log, drawn in shadow and lightning. Massive, four-legged. The silver eyes from the road, now level with the broken window. It's closer than it should be. Too quiet for something that large. My breath stutters. It's not possible. It should have been hit. Broken. Dead on the asphalt. But it stands there, rain slicking off thick black fur, looking at me the way people look at puzzles. Nice. I swallow, my voice shaking. Nice dog. The eyes narrow, not unkindly, not kindly either. Assessing. I know with the terrible clarity of prey recognizing predator that if it wanted me dead, I already would be. My fingers find a shard of glass on the seat. My grip is clumsy, useless, but some stubborn, stupid part of me curls around it anyway. The wolf's gaze flicks to my hand. Something like annoyance passes through its eyes. Or maybe I'm projecting. People do that. Paint humanity onto things to make them less terrifying. Lightning cracks again, close enough that the flash sears after images into my retinas. For a heartbeat, I swear I see something. Shift. The outline of the wolf wavers, edges blurring like heat ripples over asphalt. The air around it tightens, the way the room used to right before my father walked in drunk, charged, dangerous, holding its breath. My heart stutters. I blink hard, and the world snaps back into place. The wolf is just a wolf again. Blood loss, concussion, whatever it is. It's making me see things. Go, I whisper hoarsely, lifting my chin, as if that can cover the tremble in it. Get out of here. I'm not worth the trouble. A rough sound rumbles low in its chest, almost like a scoff. The cabin. I think wildly. I have to get to the cabin. There's a first aid kit, a landline that sometimes works, 4 walls that are mine. I drag myself the last few inches to the broken passenger door and shove it with my shoulder. It groans, but grudgingly opens farther, spilling cold night air into the car. The forest breathes over me. Wet earth, pine, something wild and sharp underneath that I can't name. I slide out, feet slipping in mud. My legs barely hold me. The world tilts to the left, then snaps back. The ground sucks at my shoes like it wants to keep me. The wolf, God, it's big, pivots to face me fully. Its head comes up to my chest. Up close, I can see individual strands of fur, the way it ripples over muscle as it shifts its weight. There's a faint scar across one ear, a notch missing at the tip. We stare at each other, rain dripping down my lashes. A strange feeling unfurls low in my chest. Not terror, though that's there too. Something older, quieter, a pull, like gravity, like recognition. Ridiculous. I take a step forward. Pain explodes up my leg. My knee buckles. The ground rushes up, and I brace for impact that will shatter me. It doesn't come. Instead, something solid slams into my side, catching me before I hit the mud. A weight presses against me, warm, unyielding. I'm not in the car anymore. I'm not on the ground either. I blink, disoriented, and find myself lifted, cradled against something firm. Not fur. Not exactly. Heat. A chest. A shoulder. An arm around my back, holding me with infuriating ease, as if I weigh nothing. What the hell were you thinking driving in this storm? The voice is a low growl at my ear, threaded with fury and something that feels too much like worry. It vibrates through my bones, through the throbbing ache of my ribs. My vision swims, edges softening. Still, I manage to tilt my head back. A face looms above mine, blurred by rain and concussion. Dark hair plastered to a strong brow, a jaw shadowed with stubble, a mouth set in a hard line. Water runs down his throat, disappearing into the open collar of a black shirt that's somehow not soaked enough for how long he must have been out. Here. But it's his eyes that steal the breath from my lungs. Silver. You... The world spins again. My tongue feels heavy. I saw... His gaze sharpens, flicking over my face as if searching for something. He smells like rain and pine and something else. Something that curls into the hollow of my throat and refuses to leave. Smoke, maybe. Moonlight. My failing brain supplies unhelpfully. Don't talk. He adjusts his hold, one arm under my knees, the other wrapped around my shoulders. My head lolls against his chest, where a steady heartbeat thuds, strong and sure. You're bleeding. Really? Hadn't noticed. The sarcasm comes out slurred. One corner of his mouth twitches. Not quite a smile. More like the ghost of one he doesn't know how to wear anymore. You're freezing, he mutters, more to himself than to me. His voice softens at the edges. Got you. The words shouldn't mean anything. They shouldn't make something inside me unclench. Shouldn't smooth an old jagged fear that no one ever would. But they do. He starts walking, muscles flexing under me. Each step is careful, sure, as if he knows this terrain like the lines on his palm. The car is already a shadow behind us, swallowed by undergrowth. Where are you? My throat burns. Taking me? Away from the wreck, he says. You're not going back up that road tonight. You're a stranger, I mumble. Supposed to avoid those. He huffs out a breath that might be a laugh, low and disbelieving. Trust me, little human. You should be more afraid of what's in these woods than of me. Little human. The words snag in my mind. Strange. Distantly, I hear wolves howling. Somewhere above us on the ridge. The sound threads through the trees, through my skin. It calls to him. I can feel it in the way his shoulders tense for a heartbeat, then force themselves loose. He doesn't answer. The silence stretches, filled with the storm and the whisper of leaves. There's a cabin, I realize as it emerges between the trees. Not mine. This one is bigger, more solid, with stacked stone along the base and a wraparound porch. Warm light spills through the windows like a promise. He shifts me in his arms to open the door, kicking it shut behind us. The inside is all dark wood and heat, the air flavored with smoke and something rich and herbal. My senses swim, trying to take in too much at once. He lowers me onto a worn leather couch with surprising gentleness. Up close, He's even more impossible. Broad shoulders, the lines of his shirt stretching across muscle earned, not bought. A scar slices from his left temple into his hairline, pale against tanned skin. His eyes, that impossible winter silver, are framed by lashes too thick for a man who looks like he was carved from the mountain itself. He crouches in front of me, close enough that I can see the faint gold ring around his pupils, almost swallowed by the silver. "Stay awake," he orders quietly, cupping my chin to tilt my face toward the light. His fingers are calloused, warm. "You have a head wound. I need to see how bad it is." "Bossy," I whisper. "Alive," he counters. "For now. Let's keep it that way." His thumb brushes, unintentionally maybe, against the corner of my mouth. The touch sends a strange shiver through me, like my nerves are tuning themselves to a frequency I didn't know existed. For a moment, our eyes lock. Something passes between us, too fast to name, too deep to be an accident. My heart stumbles, then races to catch up. His jaw tightens. He drops his hand as if burned and stands abruptly, breaking the connection. "Don't move," he says, turning away. "I'll get the first aid kit." "Wait," I croak. Who are you?" He pauses with his back to me. His shoulders lift with a slow inhale, then fall. When he glances back over his shoulder, his expression has shuddered. The faint crack I saw a second ago sealed. "Doesn't matter," he says. "You're leaving in the morning." A strange, hollow ache opens in my chest at the finality in his tone. "Still," I push. Stubbornness and old, familiar armor. "I'd like to know the name of the man who dragged me out of a crash." Basic courtesy. His mouth pulls to one side, resigned. "Rowan," he says finally. The name fits him. Rough edges wrapped around something older, wilder. "And you, little human, what are you doing on my mountain in the middle of a storm?" "My mountain." "You first," I murmur, fighting to keep my eyes open. The couch is soft, the room warm, his scent everywhere. "You show me your ID, I'll show you mine." Rowan huffs another quiet, not laugh. It does strange things to his face, makes him look less like a threat, and more like a man who's forgotten how to be anything else. "Stubborn," he mutters. Of course she'd be stubborn. She. He disappears into a hallway, leaving me with the fire, the storm, and the echo of his touch on my skin. My gaze drifts to the window, where rain streaks down the glass. Beyond it, the forest looms, dark and ancient. A shadow moves at the tree line. For a second, I see silver eyes watching the cabin, watching me. My pulse kicks. When I look again, there's nothing but rain and branches. I'm concussed, I remind myself, seeing things, imagining that the wolf from the road and the man with the same eyes exist in the same skin. That's ridiculous, impossible. And yet, as my vision blurs at the edges and consciousness slips like sand through my fingers, one thought beats in time with my heart. I found danger, and it has my name on its tongue. Chapter 2. The Wolf Behind His Eyes. The first thing I notice is the silence. No storm, no car, no seatbelt biting into bruised skin. Just the soft crackle of a fire somewhere nearby, and the low, steady sound of breathing that isn't mine. My eyelids feel glued together. When I finally pry them open, I'm looking up at a ceiling of dark wooden beams, crossed with shadows flickering orange. Memory crashes back in pieces. The road, the wolf, the fall, silver eyes, strong arms. Rowan. I jerk up too fast. Pain spears through my skull, white hot and blinding. A groan claws out of my throat before I can stop it. "Easy." The voice comes from my right, low and rough like gravel washed in whiskey. A warm hand presses gently against my shoulder. guiding me back down. The couch cushions cradle me. Someone's draped a thick wool blanket over my body. The faint scent of cedar smoke and something deeper, that same wild, electric note from last night, wraps around me like a second blanket. "You have a concussion," Rowan says. "Unless you enjoy vomiting and blackouts, I suggest you don't try to sprint anywhere." I blink up at him. He's closer than I remember, crouched beside the couch, one forearm resting on his knee. In the firelight, the harsh planes of his face soften, but only just. His eyes are still that impossible silver, catching the flames like polished metal. "You stayed," I murmur, then immediately want to bite my tongue. Of course he stayed. This is his cabin. I'm the intruder. One dark brow lifts. "You think I carry unconscious women into my house and then leave them unattended? I'm reckless, not suicidal." Despite the throbbing in my skull, a laugh escapes me, short and surprised. It pulls at my ribcage. I wince. Rowan's gaze drops, tracking the movement of my hand as I press it to my side. His jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. "How bad?" I ask. 2 cracked ribs, maybe 3. His tone is clinical, but his fingers flex, as if resisting the urge to touch. "You're bruised all down your left side. Your head wound wasn't as deep as it looked, but you lost a fair amount of blood. I stitched it." I reach up, fingertips ghosting along my hairline. I feel bandages, taped snug but not suffocating. "You stitched my head," I repeat. "Are you a doctor?" "No." His mouth curls, something like amusement and bitterness tangled together. "I'm just good at injuries." The way he says it sends a little chill through me, like he's speaking from too much experience, not academic training. "How long was I out?" I ask, dragging my thoughts away from the strange intimacy of someone sewing my skin back together. "Most of the night." He glances at the window. Pale gray light spills around the edges of the curtains. It's a few hours past dawn. I follow his gaze. The storm has bled into a misty morning, the world outside blurred and cold. "You woke up a few times," Rowan adds. "Asked the same questions. Tried to sit up." His eyes flick back to mine. "Called someone's name." Shame prickles under my skin. "Whose?" "Jason." He says the name carefully, like it tastes wrong in his mouth. My stomach tightens. "He's my ex." The word feels strange and new. "Well, newly minted ex. I turned down his proposal 3 hours before I met your windshield." "My bumper," Rowan corrects. "You swerved before you reached the windshield." I stare at him. "You were in the road." Was I? The question hangs there, almost lazy, too casual. Something in the back of my mind sharpens, the memory of those eyes in the beam of my headlights, before everything flipped and broke and bled. "You were," I insist. "There was a wolf, and then—" My voice stumbles. He holds my gaze, unblinking. "You crashed because of a wolf?" "Because of something," I say slowly. Something too big to be a regular wolf. It looked straight at me, like it knew me, like it knew I'd swerve. Rowan's expression doesn't change, not really. But the air around him does. It tightens, the temperature in the room dropping 1/2 degree. "You hit your head," he says. "The brain fills gaps with strange things. Lightning, shadows, old stories." "You think I imagined it?" I demand, heat flaring in my cheeks. "I think," he replies evenly, "that this forest has a reputation, and people love to blame it for their bad decisions." Ouch. "I didn't decide to crash my car," I snap. Pain thuds behind my eyes, but anger pushes through. "And I didn't imagine your eyes glowing in the dark." His pupils flare, swallowing some of the silver. Glow? I realize what I've said, and curse myself silently. You know, I say, trying for nonchalance and missing by a mile. Like animal eyes do, reflecting light. Whatever. Rowan studies me in silence for so long I start to fidget under his gaze. Finally, he exhales, the tension easing slightly from his shoulders. You're not going anywhere today, Arya. My name in his mouth hits me like a physical thing. I don't remember telling him. How do you... You had a wallet, he says. I'm mysterious, not psychic. Right. I sink back into the pillow, ignoring the odd flutter in my chest. My cabin. I need to get to it. It's further up the mountain. I know where it is. That makes me still. You do? His jaw ticks. Everyone who belongs here knows which places are lived in. Yours has been empty for a long time, until recently. Until I started sneaking up on weekends to breathe. So you watch people's houses, I say. I watch my land, he corrects softly. Strangers stand out. Strangers. The word lands heavier than it should. I'm not a stranger, I mutter. My grandmother lived in that cabin for 30 years. I know. So you knew her? His gaze flickers, something shadowed crossing his face. Not well. It's a lie. I can feel it. Not from any mystical insight. Just the subtle way his shoulders go a fraction too still, his voice sliding into neutral. Suspicion stirs, faint but insistent. There are too many things he says like they don't matter when they clearly do. If you know where the cabin is, I press, you can help me get there. There's a landline, and I need to see my car. Call a tow truck. Your car is totaled, he says bluntly, and the landline up there hasn't worked since winter. The storm took down half the lines on this side of the mountain. You're not going anywhere until the road is cleared and I say it's safe. Until you say, I echo. Who put you in charge? Rowan doesn't flinch. He leans forward, bracing his hand on the back of the couch near my head, caging me in without touching. The scent of him wraps around me. Stronger now. Earth and pine and something electric. Like the air just before lightning strikes. I did, he says quietly. Because people who get themselves nearly killed in the dark on a cursed road don't get to make safety calls the next morning. Cursed, I repeat. So you admit it. A tiny muscle near his eye twitches. Figure of speech. Uh-huh. For a heartbeat. We're locked like that. My pulse skitters, chasing itself in circles. His gaze drops to my mouth, and then snaps away so fast I almost doubt I saw it. Almost. The stupid, traitorous part of me that has always wanted someone to look at me like that. Like they can't help themselves. Sits up and pays very close attention. Why do you care? I ask, trying to sound harsher than I feel. You don't know me. His eyes snap back to mine. Something raw flickers there, bare and bright, before he slams the door shut on it. When he speaks, his voice is rougher. You crashed on my mountain, he says. That makes you my problem. For some reason, that doesn't sound like what he really means. And the wolf, I ask. Is that also your problem? His hand tightens on the couch. There are animals in these woods, he says. You're safer in here than out there. That should be enough for you. It isn't. But my body is shaking now with the effort of sitting up, my vision hazing at the edges. I hate how weak I feel, how much I suddenly want to obey, just because the command came in that tone. Fine, I mutter. I'll stay. Today. Rowan nods once, as if that's how it was always going to go. Good, he says. You need food. As if on cue, my stomach growls loudly, betraying me. Heat rushes to my face. He stands, the couch sighing as his weight shifts away. I almost protest at the sudden distance, which is stupid. I don't even know this man, except I do. Some absurd whispering part of me insists. I know his scent now, his voice, the way his heartbeat feels against my cheek. He moves toward the small kitchen area, every step easy and silent for a man his size. There's a predator's grace to him, controlled and contained. "So," I call after him, trying to sound casual, "is Rowan your first name or last name?" "First," he replies without turning. He opens a cabinet, pulls out a pan. "Last names are for people who go into town." "You don't?" "Not if I can help it." Of course. He's one of those people. Wild man of the mountain. Town ghost story. Girls daring each other at sleepovers to drive up here and see if the reclusive lumberjack werewolf serial killer will appear. The thought makes me snort, then wince as pain flares in my ribs. "What's funny?" he asks. "You," I say. "You're like the main character of a cautionary tale. Don't go into the woods after dark, or Rowan will get you." He glances over his shoulder, one dark brow arching. "Trust me, if I got you, little human, you'd know it." The way he says it is not entirely reassuring. My skin prickles. He turns back to the stove. The room fills slowly with the scent of eggs and something smoky. My body, traitor that it is, relaxes notch by notch. The normalcy of breakfast feels almost obscene against the backdrop of last night. "Why do you keep calling me that?" I blurt. "Little human." He pauses. "I told you," he says finally, without looking back. "Strangers stand out." That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. He slides a plate toward me a few minutes later, then carefully helps me sit up enough to eat. His fingers brush mine when he passes me the fork, sending little sparks skittering up my arm. Our eyes catch. An awareness passes between us, taut and bright. You feel it too, I think wildly. His throat works. He steps back, puts distance between us like it's the only way he can breathe. "You should rest after you eat," he says. "I'll check the road later." "And the wolves?" I press. His jaw hardens. "Stay inside. They won't come near the cabin." "How do you know?" He hesitates, just a fraction too long. "Because I don't let them," he says at last. "Eat, Arya." He walks to the window, pulling back the curtain just enough to look out. His shoulders are tense, every line of his body drawn tight like a bowstring. I force myself to focus on the food, on not spilling it all over his blanket. But my gaze keeps stealing back to him, to the way he watches the tree line as if expecting something, to the way, for one strange heartbeat, I think I see a shadow move out there, pacing at the edge of the forest. Too big. Too silent. When Rowan lifts his hand slightly, fingers curling, the shadow stops, like it's obeying a command I can't hear. A shiver runs down my spine. Maybe I did hit my head harder than I thought. Or maybe the wolf on the road and the man in this cabin are the same problem. Outside, somewhere deep in the fog-drenched woods, a howl rises, long and low and aching. It vibrates through the glass, through my bones. Rowan's shoulders go rigid. He doesn't turn, but his head tilts, just enough that I can see his profile, the tight line of his mouth, the flicker of something wild in his eyes. Like the call is for him, like some part of him howls back. My fork clatters against the plate. He glances over, expression guarded. "Rest," he said. "Stay inside," he said. I look at him, at the wolf shadow moving behind his eyes, and one thought roots itself in the scarred soil of my chest. I'm not safe here. But I might be safer than anywhere else. And I am not leaving this mountain until I know exactly what Rowan is hiding, and why. When the wolves howl, his pulse answers like it's their echo. Chapter 3. The Scent of Secrets. The fire has burned down to embers by the time Rowan steps away from the window. He moves like a man carved out of silence, all controlled power and buried storms. When he turns toward me, the wildness I glimpsed a moment ago is smoothed away. Hidden, but not gone. "Finish eating?" he asks. The plate is empty, but only because I forced myself to chew through the pain and the questions twisting in my gut. I nod. Rowan studies me for a long moment, the silver in his eyes sharp as moonlight on steel. "Good," he says quietly. "You'll need your strength." The words land wrong, important, heavy. "For what?" I ask. His jaw clenches. "Just rest. I have things to check." With that, he turns, striding toward the door like he can outrun whatever tension is coiling tighter and tighter between us. "Wait." My voice cracks, thinner than I want it to be. When he stops, it sends a pulse skittering through my ribs. "If you go out there alone and that wolf is still around, I'll be fine," he interrupts, not unkindly. "You're the one who almost died last night." Almost died. The words echo inside me, cold and too honest. "You're hurt too," I point out, even though I can't see a single scratch on him. "I saw you on the road, or I saw something." My voice falters. Rowan's shoulders stiffen. The air thickens, the way it does before thunder rolls. "You hit your head," he repeats, but his tone is softer this time. "Rest is the only thing that will make sense of what you saw." I narrow my eyes. "You keep saying that, like you're trying to convince yourself." His expression cracks for half a second, just long enough for me to see the truth. He's afraid I saw too much. "What was it, Rowan?" I whisper. "What was in the road?" He exhales sharply, like the question is a trap closing around him. "Stay here. Don't leave the cabin, no matter what you hear." The last words snag in my chest. No matter what I hear? Rowan. But he's already turning the handle. "Lock the door behind me," he says. "And Arya." He pauses, looking back at me. Firelight catches on his lashes, his cheekbone, the faint scar cutting across his temple. He looks dangerous in the way storms are dangerous. Inevitable, powerful, impossible to reason with. "Don't be afraid," he says. Of him. Of the forest. He doesn't say. The door shuts behind him. A second later, the soft click of the lock slides into place between us. The cabin breathes. The silence he leaves behind feels too big. It stretches between the walls, into the corners, into the places where Rowan's presence still lingers like heat. The scent of him remains in the air. Pine, smoke, something sharper. I try to lay back, but the quiet presses against my ribs in a way that hurts more than the bruises. I don't want to rest. I want answers. The window fogs as I breathe. Outside, the mist curls around the trees, swallowing them whole. Every now and then, a branch snaps in the distance. Wind, wildlife, or something with silver eyes. I push the blanket aside and swing my legs over the edge of the couch. Pain flares hot, but I grit my teeth and use the armrest to steady myself. Every movement sends fire through my side. I'm trembling by the time I reach the window. The forest is still. Too still. "Don't leave the cabin," Rowan's voice echoes in my memory. I won't, but I will look. The trees shift. Slow, like something weaving between them. A shape emerges vague at first. A shadow outlined by fog. My breath freezes. It's huge. and for one sickening moment, I see silver glint through the mist. No, it's too far away to be Rowan. It's too big to be anything human. The shadow pauses at the tree line, watching. My heart hammers against my cracked ribs. Pain tears through me, sharp and raw. I press my palm to the glass, as if that flimsy barrier can keep whatever it is out. Rowan, I whisper. Lightning doesn't flash. There's no storm, but a prickle crawls down my neck, the same warning I felt right before the crash. Whatever is out there is wrong, and it's looking for me. A scent on the air. A sudden gust of wind slams against the cabin, rattling the windows. I stumble back, clutching my ribs. Then, footsteps. Outside. Heavy, measured, moving toward the door. My pulse jolts. Rowan? Silence. A low sound follows. A rumbling snarl. Not loud, but deep enough to vibrate through the floorboards. Oh, God. I stagger backward until my calves hit the couch. The doorknob twitches. Then, footsteps again. Retreating this time. A moment later, Rowan's voice cuts through the quiet. Arya, open the door. I freeze. He sounds normal. Calm. But something isn't right. There's a tremor underneath. A barely contained energy like the air after lightning strikes. Arya. His knuckles rap once against the wood. Too controlled. Too careful. Unlock it. My fingers tremble as I lift the latch. The door swings inward, letting in cold air and Rowan's tall, shadow-dark form. He steps inside, slowly, like he's fighting tension coiling through every muscle. His chest rises and falls too fast for a man who claims nothing is wrong. What happened? He asks. Something was out there, I whisper, at the tree line. I know. Those 2 words chill me more than anything else. You saw it? Yes. What was it? He doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he inhales, deep, slow. The way a predator might scent the wind. My skin prickles. Food, fire, rain, fear. His eyes flick to mine, pupils blown wide. The gold ring around them pulses for a heartbeat before the silver swallows it. You're afraid, he says softly. It should be obvious. But the way he says it, like the emotion is a scent he can taste, makes something in my stomach flip. Was it the same wolf? I ask. The one from the road? His jaw tightens. Do you have wolves here? I press. Not like that. What does that mean? Arya. He steps closer, voice dropping. You need to sit down. I'm fine. You're shaking. I am. But not from pain. From him. From the way he looks at me, as if he's trying not to get too close and trying not to step back. Sit, he says again, quieter this time. Not a command. Almost a plea. I lower myself onto the couch, breath shallow. Rowan kneels in front of me, close enough that I can see how fast his pulse beats at his throat, close enough that the heat of him reaches through my clothes. He leans in just slightly and breathes, not like a normal person, not like anything human. He inhales the air between us slowly, deliberately, as if searching for something only he can sense. What are you doing? My voice wavers. Checking, he murmurs, the word brushing the skin near my cheek. For what? His lashes lift. Our eyes meet, and something in the room snaps tight, an invisible wire humming with recognition. Heat, fear, longing. I feel it in my chest, my throat, my bones, like the air itself has shifted toward him. Rowan jerks back as if burned. He rises to his feet, spinning away from me. One hand braces against the wall, fingers digging into the wood. His shoulders shake once, like he's holding something inside by force. Rowan, I say quietly, tell me what's going on. You don't want the truth. Let me decide that. He's silent for a long time, When he finally speaks, his voice is barely audible. "What you saw last night?" His jaw flexes. It wasn't a normal wolf. My pulse spikes. "So it was real," I whisper. "I knew it." "That's why you're staying here," he says. "Why you don't go out alone. Why you lock the door." "But why does it matter to you?" I breathe. "You're acting like I'm being hunted." Rowan turns, and for the first time, he doesn't hide the wildness in his eyes. "You are," he says. My breath disappears. He takes one step toward me, then another. The shadows cling to him like they recognize him the same way the forest seems to. "The thing you saw," he says, voice a rough whisper, "didn't follow your car by accident." "What does that mean?" I ask. He stops just in front of me. Close enough I can feel the heat of him on my bruised skin. Close enough I can smell the faint wild scent that clings to him even after the rain. His gaze drops to my mouth for a single, shattering heartbeat. Then, "It was looking for you," he says, "and I won't let it take you." Take. Not hurt. Not attack. Take. A cold fear curls through me. Why me? His breathing shudders once. Then, "That," Rowan says, voice roughened until it's barely human, "is the part I can't tell you." His eyes gleam silver. "And the part I can't stay away from." Chapter 4. The claim he won't speak. For a long moment, Rowan and I just stare at each other. Me, pinned by the gravity of something I don't yet understand. And him, braced like a man fighting the urge to move toward me instead of away. The fire pops behind him. Outside, the mist presses against the windows like a living thing. "You can't tell me?" I whisper. Rowan's jaw flexes hard. "No, but you know." "Yes. And it has something to do with the wolf." His breathing shifts. Too sharp. Too fast. And that alone is an answer. My heart slams so hard against my ribs that my vision pulses with each beat. "Then tell me what it is, Rowan. Tell me why I'm being hunted." His pupils dilate again. Black, swallowing silver. His hand twitches at his side, fingers curling in and out, as though fighting something primal. "You can't stay here," he says suddenly, voice low, urgent. "Not with me. Not after last night." Heat flashes through me. Fear, yes, but something else too. Something disturbingly close to disappointment. "Why not?" His breath leaves him in a rough exhale. "Because whatever followed you off that road didn't lose the trail. It knows you're alive. It knows you're here." "And you know what it is?" I push. "I know," he says, "that you were very nearly claimed last night." Claimed. The word lands like ice water down my spine. "I'm not livestock," I snap, anger flaring bright over fear. What does that even mean? Claimed by what? A wolf? His eyes flash. Not just a wolf. There it is again. That edge. That heaviness in the air like the moment before a shift in weather. "Explain it to me," I demand. I saw something impossible. I saw eyes. Your eyes. Looking at me through the dark. Tell me what it means, or I'm leaving. He moves before I can blink. Not a threat. Not even fast. Just a step. One step. And suddenly, there's no space left between us. His body heat rolls over me. His scent curls around the back of my neck. And the air between us sparks like it's full of static. "You're not leaving this cabin," he growls. I lift my chin, refusing to flinch. "You can't keep me here." "You think I want to keep you?" His voice breaks like thunder, then drops to a quiet, devastated rasp. "I don't." The words hit me harder than they should. "But I have to," he continues, eyes burning into mine. "Because if you walk out that door, you will die." There is something terrifying in the honesty of his voice. Something protective and furious. and restrained only by sheer will. But also something else. Something that makes the air between us feel too thin. I swallow. Rowan. What are you? His breath stutters. He steps back like I've physically struck him. The crack of distance is immediate. Cold. I instantly regret asking, and yet I need the answer, like I need air. I'm someone who should have let you pass through this mountain without ever seeing me, he says, voice hoarse. But you didn't, and He stops himself before whatever that I was meant to become escapes, before he gives himself away. I soften my voice. How do you know I'm being hunted? He swallows. His eyes close. For the same reason, he murmurs, that I can smell the fear on your skin. Everything inside me freezes. He smells. How? I whisper, barely breathing. He opens his eyes. They're fully silver now, not human, not hiding. Because, he says, I'm not what you think I am. My mouth goes dry. My pulse spikes. Rowan, I breathe. What are you? He hesitates. Then slowly, he lifts a hand. Not toward me. Toward the air between us. The air shimmers. Not visibly. Not realistically. But I feel it. Something in the atmosphere hums. Deep and instinctive, like the world reacting to him. My breath hitch catches in my throat. Rowan! A sharp knock at the door explodes the moment apart. Rowan goes still. So still he could be carved from stone. When he turns his head toward the door, every muscle in his body locks, coiled and ready. His eyes flare brighter. Stay behind me, he murmurs, as if I'd do anything else. He steps forward with the silent precision of a predator. His shoulders widen. His stance shifts. Just enough that I see the animal beneath the skin. His fingers curl like claws he's not letting loose. The knock comes again. This time, deeper. Slower. Like it's not knocking. Like it's testing the door. Rowan, I whisper, backing instinctively toward the far wall. Was that the wolf? No. His voice is a low, dangerous growl. Stay put. He moves to the door. I can barely breathe. The air thickens, heavy with something ancient, something that makes my skin crawl and my chest tighten. Rowan puts one hand on the doorknob. His shoulders tense. He inhales, and whatever he scents outside makes every hair on his body rise. His eyes flash wider, brighter, like molten metal. Get back, he snarls. Before I can respond, the door shudders violently, hit from the outside with force that rattles the entire cabin. I yelp, stumbling backward. Rowan whirls, fangs of rage in his voice. I said back! He's never yelled before. Not like that. Not with terror in it. I scramble behind the couch. Another slam hits the door. Harder this time. Splintering wood. Rowan braces against it. Teeth bared. Muscles flexing as something massive pushes from the other side. Rowan, I cry. He doesn't look at me. If it gets in, run. What is it? Not a wolf. His voice cracks. Something worse. The door bows inward. Rowan snarls, an actual snarl, and shoves back, holding it closed by brute force. And then the thing on the other side goes silent. The pressure disappears. Rowan stays frozen, chest heaving. Then a low, wet, sniffing sound drags across the outside of the door. It pauses at the bottom edge where the wood meets the floorboards, and stops, right where my blood from last night probably still stains the threshold. Rowan goes feral. His eyes blaze. His breath turns into a growl. Every vein in his neck stands out like he's restraining something monstrous inside himself. The sniffing intensifies. Slow, greedy, searching. My stomach twists. It's following my scent. Yes, Rowan rasps. But why? His voice breaks. Because you smell like... He cuts himself off, slamming his fist into the wall beside the door to stop the words. The sniffing stops. Silence again. Then, as impossibly sudden as it came, whatever was outside retreats into the fog. I hear it. Heavy footsteps. Crushing underbrush. A guttural exhale. Then nothing. Rowan waits a long moment, then pulls his hand from the doorknob. He turns. His chest rises and falls too fast. His eyes are still silver, and they lock onto me like I'm the only thing anchoring him to this shape. "You need to tell me the truth," he says, voice shredded. "Why did you come to this mountain last night?" I told you," I stammer. "I was running. From a proposal. From a life I didn't want. I wasn't coming to find anything. Or anyone." Something breaks across his expression. Pain, relief, fear, and something hungrier. "Arya," he whispers, stepping toward me. "There is a reason it's tracking you." My breath catches. What reason? He stops inches in front of me. A muscle jumps in his jaw. His voice is a confession he shouldn't give. "Because your scent..." His throat works, swallowing hard. It calls to things that shouldn't hear it. My pulse thunders. "And to you?" I breathe. His eyes close. "Yes," he whispers, "especially to me." The air charges. Electric, dangerous, almost alive. I sway forward without meaning to. Rowan jerks back like I'm fire. "You shouldn't be near me," he says, voice trembling with restraint. Not when I can barely hold myself together. "What am I to you?" I whisper. His breath shatters. His silver eyes lift to mine. "You," he says, voice breaking, "are the one scent I was never supposed to breathe." Chapter 5. His control is slipping. The space between us hums. Alive. Dangerous. Rowan stands there like a man shattered down the middle. One half fighting to hold the line. The other half dragging him toward me with feral urgency. I can feel the tension in the air, the way it thickens around him. Around us, like invisible threads pulling tighter with every breath. My pulse thrums against my neck. Too fast. Too loud. "You talk like I'm some kind of..." I swallow. "Trigger. Or a threat." Rowan's eyes flick up, silver glinting with warning. Not a threat. "Then what?" His throat works. His jaw tightens. And then, in a voice rough enough to scrape bone, he says, "A match." I blink. "A match?" He nods once. "To a fuse I've held together for years." It sends a shudder through me, because I feel it. Feel the way the room seems to breathe with him, the way the shadows cling to his outline, as though eager to slip into his skin. "Why me?" I ask. "I'm no one. Just a woman who made a stupid decision to drive up a mountain in a storm." "A woman," Rowan repeats quietly. "Yes, you are that." His gaze sweeps over me, slow, unwilling, reverent and pained all at once. "But not simple," he murmurs. "Not unimportant. And definitely not... no one." Heat skates across my skin. I force myself to stand straighter despite the pain. "Then tell me what I am." Rowan's hands flex at his sides, fingers curling like claws he refuses to let sharpen. "You're something I never should have crossed paths with," he says in a harsh whisper. "Not with the curse hanging over me." Curse. The word hits me like a falling stone. A curse. My voice barely comes out. "Rowan." What curse? He looks away for a moment, jaw working as if grinding against secrets that want to break loose. Then, slowly, he begins to pace. He moves like he's trying to walk off the storm gathering beneath his skin. "When a shifter loses control," he says, "their instincts take over. They stop thinking. They start reacting." His voice goes quiet. "Sometimes they claim..." Sometimes they kill. I grip the back of the couch until my knuckles ache. Rowan. Shifters aren't real. He stops pacing, turns, looks at me like I've just whispered to the dark that it doesn't exist. Everything is real, he says softly, until it tears your world apart. My breath catches. Are you saying you're cursed? I ask. His jaw tightens. I'm saying there are things in these woods that want you, and I'm the only thing standing between them and your blood on the snow. His words echo through me, cold and heavy. But why me? I whisper. Why am I being targeted? Rowan doesn't move, doesn't breathe for a beat. Then, because your scent shouldn't exist, he murmurs. Not like this. Not for them. Not for me. I swallow. Hard. What does it smell like? His eyes flare brighter. It smells, he says slowly, like fate. My heartbeat stutters. Rowan. He steps closer before I even see him move. Suddenly he's towering over me again, heat rolling off him, the force of him almost. Physical. His voice drops to a low, intimate rasp. I smelled you on that road before you ever saw me. My breath stops. And every instinct I have. His eyes drag across my face, linger on my mouth, is screaming to get closer to you. Heat pools low in my stomach, fear mixing with something warm and dangerously intoxicating. But I can't, he growls, stepping back like he's ripping himself away. Because the last shifter who followed a scent like yours lost control, and his mate died. Mate. The word slams into me with a force that nearly steals my breath. I'm not your... Don't say it. His voice cracks. I can't hear you say it. I swallow thickly. Rowan, you can't possibly think... I don't think. His voice is a low snarl. I feel. And that's the problem. My pulse races. His breathing roughens. Tension crackles like the air between us is turning to lightning. Then... something outside moves. A shadow gliding past the window. Rowan hears it instantly. He goes rigid, head snapping toward the door. His nostrils flare, scenting the air. His pupils narrow to slits. For a heartbeat, just one. His teeth lengthen, sharp against the low light. A half shift. I stumble back. He forces the change down, shaking like the restraint is tearing at his bones. Get behind me, he orders, voice vibrating with something not human. I move before I can think. The shadow outside stops, just beyond the glass. Rowan places himself between me and the door, shoulders broad, every muscle coiled like a spring about to snap. Then the shadow moves again, slow, deliberate, circling. Rowan's voice is a growl I feel in my spine. It's testing the walls, testing my scent, testing yours. My blood runs cold. Why does it want me? I don't understand. This time, Rowan doesn't turn around when he answers. Because, he says softly, voice threaded with something ancient and terrible. You smell like a mate. My breath collapses. And in this forest, he adds, that kind of scent is enough to start a war. The shadow taps the wall once. 3 sharp clicks. Rowan growls deep in his chest, the sound shaking the cabin, and the shadow retreats. For now. Rowan slumps forward slightly, bracing his hands on the table, chest heaving with the effort of restraining himself. I swallow. Rowan, my voice breaks. Are you... Don't, he snaps, cutting me off again. Don't finish that word. Not yet. His shoulders rise and fall. Once, twice. Then he turns to face me, and though he tries to hide it, the truth is stamped across his features. Raw, terrified, unavoidable. Arya, he whispers, I am fighting every instinct in my body not to claim you. The room spins. I grip the table. Why fight it? His eyes close, as if the question physically hurts him. Because If I lose control, he says, voice breaking. I'm afraid I won't give you the choice. My heart fractures into quiet thunder. Rowan, I breathe, stepping toward him despite everything. His eyes snap open. Silver. Wild. Barely human. Stop, he rasps. I do, not because I want to, but because the look on his face is a man standing on the edge of a cliff. And another step from me will push him over. He forces himself backward, gripping the back of a chair so hard the wood groans. We need distance, he says. But tonight, he gasps. With the moon rising and that thing stalking the woods, Arya, I can't guarantee I'll stay in control. My chest tightens. You're shaking. He is, not with fear, with restraint. Rowan, I whisper, tears burning behind my eyes. What do you need? He looks at me, and his expression cracks, devastated and hungry. Space, he whispers hoarsely, or I will touch you. A shiver skates down my spine. And if you touch me? I ask, unable to stop the question. He flinches. Then I won't stop, he says. He drags a hand over his face, then forces himself toward the door to the far hall. I'll keep watch outside your room, he says without looking back. Stay inside. Lock the door. Don't open it. Not even for me. Unless I call your name. Rowan. He stops at the hallway's edge. His voice is barely human when he says, because if I lose control tonight, Arya, I won't be able to stop myself from claiming my mate. And then he disappears into the darkness. Chapter 6. The moon takes what it wants. The hallway swallows Rowan whole. His footsteps fade, then stop entirely, as if he's holding himself motionless in the dark, one breath away from breaking. The cabin feels suddenly too wide, too empty, too full of all the things he won't say. Mate, claim, curse. Words that feel like they shouldn't exist outside myths, yet they beat in my chest in time with my pulse, refusing to be denied. I stand by the table for a long time, hands trembling, breath trembling harder. Then, slowly, I move toward the hallway. His warning echoes in my mind. Don't come near me. Don't touch me. Don't open the door unless I call your name. Every instinct screams that something is wrong, terribly wrong. But everything in me also pulls toward him, like my body has a compass I didn't know existed, and it's locked on Rowan North. I take one step. The floorboard creaks. Another step. Then, Arya. His voice rips through the dark. Not loud, not angry, but rough, frayed, almost pleading. Don't. A breath shudders out of him. Please, please. The word freezes me mid-stride. I can feel you, he says from the hidden dark of the hallway. Every step you take, every breath. And if you come any closer, his voice breaks. I won't be able to walk away again. I press my back against the wall, the wood cool against my overheated skin. Talk to me, I whisper. Silence. Then, talking is the last thing I should be doing right now, he says, voice buried low. Your scent is everywhere. It's burning through me. I swallow, hard. You said my scent is a match. Yes, he breathes, and there's moonlight pouring gasoline on it. I close my eyes. The moon affects you, I say, more statement than question. It affects all of us, Rowan whispers, but me most of all. All of who? I ask quietly. The pack. Pack. My heart stutters. You're really... I'm not telling you this, he says quickly. Not now. Not when I'm this close to losing myself. His breathing grows ragged, shaken, uneven, barely held back. I imagine him on the other side of the darkness, back braced against the wall, fists clenched, body trembling with the effort it takes to stay human. Rowan. My voice softens. You don't have to protect me from yourself. A low sound, half a laugh, half despair, slips from him. Arya, I'm not worried about you. My breath stutters. Then what? I'm worried, he says, voice going hoarse, about what I'll become if I let myself have you for even 1 second. Heat surges through me. Unexpected, unwanted, but undeniable. My fingers curl against my palms. You're not going to hurt me, I insist, so sure I almost believe it. Not physically, he says. Never that. The darkness stirs, but the moment I touch you, his whisper scrapes the air, I'll make you mine before I can stop myself. A tremor runs through me. I don't know if it's fear or want. Rowan, I breathe. What is happening to you? The answer comes like a confession pulled from the marrow of his bones. My control is breaking. My stomach drops. Because of me? He exhales a sound like surrender. Because of you. The cabin creaks as wind sweeps over the roof. Outside, the forest exhales a low, ominous hush. Something moves in the distance. Too precise. Too heavy to be natural. Rowan hears it first. His breath stops mid-inhale. Get to your room, he says. Now. My pulse spikes. Rowan. He moves then. Fast. Fluid. A blur of shadow and muscle stepping just barely into the faint light, spilling from the main room. It's the first time I've seen him since he vanished into the darkness. And his eyes. I gasp. They're glowing. Not a reflection. Not a trick of the firelight. Silver. Brilliant. Luminous. Like 2 shards of moonlight carved into a face fighting its own bones. Rowan. I breathe. Fear and awe twisting inside me. You're changing, he grinds out. His jaw clenches as if resisting a scream. Arya. Now. A crash sounds outside. Closer this time. The creature. The hunter. The one following my blood. Rowan's body snaps toward the door, muscles shredding beneath his skin like something inside is trying to claw free. A deep, guttural growl tears from his throat. Not human. Not contained. The sound paralyzes me, but he whirls back to me instantly. Eyes blazing, chest heaving, desperation etched into every line of him. I can't protect you if you're near me, he warns. And I can't protect you if you're far. His voice breaks. I am losing control, Arya. And if I shift in front of you, you think I'll be scared, I whisper. I know you'll be claimed, he snaps. By instinct, by accident, by me. His breath shudders. Get to your room, he begs this time, before I smell your fear any stronger. I move, not because of fear of him, but fear for him. He backs into the hallway with every step I take, like any closeness is fire against his skin. When I reach the doorway to the guest room, he stops, one hand braced against the opposite wall, head bowed as if he's praying for strength he doesn't have. You lock this door, he rasps. Do you understand me? Yes. If you hear me shift, stay inside. I will. If you hear me fight, stay inside. I nod. If you hear me scream. His voice cuts off, trembling. You do not open this door. No matter what I say. No matter what you think you hear. My throat closes. Rowan. He finally lifts his head. And in those blazing silver eyes, I see him slipping. The man retreating. The wolf rising. The curse tightening around his soul. Arya, he whispers, like a plea, like a name he's been waiting his whole life to say. I will come back for you. Rowan. His eyes flare bright, and he turns and bolts into the darkness before I can breathe his name again. A heartbeat later, the forest outside erupts with a roar that does not belong to any human throat. The night explodes into the sound of 2 monsters meeting in the dark. I slam the door shut and lock it. but I don't step away. I press my palms against the wood and lower my forehead to it, trembling, because the truth is no longer avoidable. Not after the look in his eyes, not after the way the air itself bent between us. I'm not afraid of the wolf outside. I'm afraid of how much I already want the one fighting for me. Chapter 7. When the wolf speaks his truth, I don't know how long the fight lasts. Minutes, hours, a lifetime. Time twists strangely, when terror and hope pull in opposite directions. Every sound outside slices through me, snarls ripping the air, the crunch of branches, the wet thud of bodies hitting the earth. Sometimes the forest goes silent, and that's when I can't breathe at all, because silence means one of them is dying, and I don't know which one terrifies me more. My fingers dig into the wooden doorframe, my forehead pressed against it. Every instinct in my body wants me to open the door, to run into the night after Rowan, to drag him back from whatever monster lurks in the dark with him. But his voice echoes in my mind, ragged and breaking. If you hear me scream, you do not open this door, not even for me. A snarl rolls across the clearing, low, thunderous, angry. It's Rowan. I can feel it. Somehow, impossibly, I know. My breath catches. Rowan. Something crashes into the cabin wall so violently that the bed shudders under me. I scream before I can stop myself. Outside, another growl answers. The other creature. The one that followed my scent. The one Rowan said wanted to claim me. The cabin trembles again. Then a sound tears through the night. Not a growl. Not a roar. A scream. Not human. Not exactly. But close enough to claw straight into my chest. "Rowan!" I cry, hands flying to the door. "Rowan! I'm coming!" No. The voice is so faint, so shredded. I almost think I dreamed it. No. Arya. Stay inside. My shaking fingers fall away from the lock. I drop to the floor, curling forward as tears sting hot behind my eyes. "Please," I whisper into my knees. "Please come back." The sounds outside grow sharper, more frantic, more brutal. Claws scraping earth, snapping jaws, bones striking bark. Then, silence. Not the terrible, heavy silence from before. This one feels waiting, breathing. The floor beneath me vibrates with footsteps. Heavy, uneven, approaching the cabin. I push myself up, heart pounding. "Rowan?" I whisper. The footsteps stop directly outside my door. A moment passes, then another, then a low, rough sound rumbles through the wood. Not a growl this time. A whine, wounded, calling. My breath stutters. I unlock the door, but I don't open it. "Rowan," I say softly, pressing my palm against the wood. "If it's you, give me something. Anything." A warm, heavy weight presses against the other side of the door. Not a hand, a shoulder. Something large sinks down, resting against it with a tired huff. The air on my side shifts with heat radiating through the wood. I swallow hard. "I can feel you," I whisper. A soft, breathy sound answers. A quiet exhale, almost relieved. My eyes sting. Are you hurt?" Silence. Then a low, rumbling hum. Not quite a growl. Not quite a purr. Something in between. Something that vibrates through the door and into my bones. "Rowan," I breathe, tears slipping down my cheeks. I'm opening it. The weight against the door goes suddenly still. I take a breath, steadying myself. I'm opening it, I repeat, slowly. I turn the handle, heart in my throat. The door cracks open, and the first thing I see is fur. Black, thick, glossy in the moonlight that pours through the hall window. A massive wolf lies collapsed against the threshold, chest rising and falling with heavy, exhausted breaths. My breath catches. He's enormous, larger than any natural wolf, with powerful shoulders and limbs corded with muscle. His fur is streaked with blood, some his, some not. One ear is torn. A gash runs along his ribs, still dripping, but his eyes, oh God, his eyes, silver, luminous, the exact shade that haunts my heartbeat. Rowan, I whisper. The wolf lifts his head, slow, shaky, and meets my gaze. Recognition hits me like lightning. He moves his head a fraction closer to me. Barely a touch, barely a breath, but enough. You're hurt. My voice breaks. Come inside, please. He huffs out a slow breath as if agreeing, but when I step back, he doesn't rise. He tries. I see the muscles twitch, his paws shift, but he collapses again with a pained, frustrated sound. You can't shift back, I whisper. Not yet. His eyes close briefly, shame flickering through them like a shadow. Then he opens them again, watching me with so much emotion it nearly buckles my knees. I'm going to touch you, I murmur. Okay? Just your fur. Just to help you. His ear flicks, a slow, careful nod of his massive head. I sink to my knees in front of him. My fingertips brush his fur, softer than I expect, warm even where blood mats it. Rowan exhales sharply through his nose, his entire body relaxing beneath my touch, as though something deep inside him goes quiet. Oh. He's been holding himself together by threads, and my touch, my scent, is something that steadies him instead of destroying him. I stroke gently along his shoulder, over the injury at his ribs. He flinches, but doesn't pull away. You saved me, I whisper, voice cracking. Again. His huge head pushes into my palm. My heart fractures. You weren't lying, I murmur. You really can't stay near me when you're like this. A low, guttural sound rumbles from him. Agreement, apology, longing tangled together. I lean closer, forehead dipping toward his. Rowan, I breathe. I'm right here. He presses his forehead to mine. The contact is electric. Not painful, not frightening, but deep, ancient. Like something clicking into place. Like something remembering itself. A soft, trembling breath escapes him. His silver eyes close, the fight draining from his body as he sinks fully to the floor, surrendering to exhaustion. I whisper into his fur, I'm not afraid of you. His ears flick. I should be, I add, brushing my fingers gently behind one of them. But I'm not. Another soft, rumbling exhale. This one unmistakably content. For a long time we stay like that. Man and wolf, human and shifter. Fear and fate. Touching across the threshold of something neither of us can turn back from. When his breathing slows and deepens, I realize he's fallen asleep. Finally. Blessedly. I shift slightly, not wanting to move away, but needing to ease his head onto the blanket I pulled from the bed. His eyes open halfway. They're softer now, gentle, trusting. Rest, I whisper. You're safe. His eyelids lower, and just before sleep takes him fully, he does one last thing that nearly undoes me. He nudges my wrist with his nose, a soft, deliberate touch, then rests his head over my hand, claiming it, claiming me. My breath trembles. Rowan, I whisper, heart splitting open. What are we? But he's gone to sleep, and I am left kneeling beside him, my hand in his fur, making his body curled protectively toward mine, and a truth humming under my skin like a heartbeat. I'm already his, whether either of us understands it or not. Chapter 8. The man who wakes in the wolf's place. Rowan breathes like he's dreaming. Not human dreaming, not soft or slow, but deep, rumbling, a sound that vibrates through the floorboards, and into my bones. It's the kind of sound a creature makes when it has spent too long fighting the world, and finally stopped. The giant wolf whose head rests on my lap is nothing like the monster I imagined when he warned me. Up close, he is all heat and heartbeat and impossible strength, his chest rising and falling in steady, exhausted waves. His fur, dark, thick, coarse along the spine, but feather soft lower down, moves faintly with each breath. And his weight, God, he is heavy against me, not crushing, but anchoring, grounding, like he trusts me enough to give me the full weight of himself. My throat tightens. He nearly died tonight, protecting me. I stroke his fur gently, carefully avoiding the gash along his ribs. You're too stubborn, I whisper. One ear twitches. You told me to stay away, and then you throw yourself between me and something that wants me dead. I swallow. I don't know whether to thank you or strangle you. A low, sleepy huff escapes him, warm against my thigh, like he's laughing without the breath for it. It's insane to feel tenderness for something this huge, this dangerous. But there is no fear in me, only something deep and quiet, and so overwhelming I can barely name it. Trust. No. Something deeper. Something that feels like my bones recognize him. I run my fingers through the fur along his neck. His breathing slows further, and I feel the shift in him. Not a physical one. Not yet. But an emotional softening. Like he's letting down walls as old as he is. You don't have to protect me, I murmur, leaning closer. Not alone. His body tightens briefly, like my words hit a place he doesn't let anyone touch. Then relaxes. Slowly. Completely. Minutes pass. Maybe hours. The moon outside shifts behind clouds, and the cabin grows darker, quieter, warmer. My exhaustion catches up with me, but I don't move. Not with Rowan's head heavy on my lap. Not with his breathing soft against my hip. At some point, sleep drags me under. When I wake, everything has changed. A faint warmth brushes my cheek. A thumb, calloused, careful, reverent. My eyes snap open. Rowan is kneeling over me in human form. Bare skin, bare arms, bare chest. And for a full second, I forget how to breathe. He's crouched low, bracing one arm beside my head, the other reaching as if he meant to wake me gently but stopped halfway. His silver eyes search mine, wild and aching and impossibly soft. I jerk upright instinctively and immediately hiss at the pain in my ribs. Rowan freezes. Then his hand snaps to my arm, steadying me with terrifying gentleness. Easy, he rasps. Arya, slow. You're hurt. What? My voice breaks. What happened? Are you... No. His jaw tightens. You first. Are you all right? He's close enough that I feel the heat radiating off his bare chest. Close enough that I can see faint blood drying on his skin. His, not mine. Rowan. My throat tightens. You're bleeding. Not anymore. His gaze flicks briefly to his ribs. Freshly healed. Skin still pink but unbroken. Shifts heal faster. So you shifted back? He nods once. When? I ask softly. You fell asleep. His jaw flexes. I didn't want you waking up next to the wolf. Why? My voice is barely a whisper. I wasn't afraid. His eyes close for a second, pain crossing his expression. I was, he breathes. My stomach drops. Of what? He opens his eyes. Of hurting you, he says. Or, his gaze breaks away. Of wanting you too much. Heat rushes through me. Sharp, confusing, impossible to ignore. Rowan, I murmur. He lifts his head sharply enough that a lock of dark hair falls across his forehead. Don't say my name like that. Like what? Like you're not afraid of me. I swallow hard. I'm not. His eyes flare. You should be. He rises abruptly, pacing a tight circle like he's burning energy he can't contain. I try to stand, but he's at my side instantly, steadying me with hands that tremble. Don't, he mutters. You need rest. I need answers, I counter. His hands go still against my shoulders. He closes his eyes again, breathing hard like he's fighting something vicious inside himself. Arya, he says quietly, there are truths that can't be untold. I don't care. You will. Tell me anyway. He opens his eyes, and the look there steals every breath from my lungs. Fine. His voice is steady, but threaded with something dangerous. Just sit. Please. I sink onto the edge of the bed. Rowan doesn't sit. He stands in front of me like a man bracing to confess a sin. What he says next changes everything. You were never supposed to exist. Arya, Rowan begins, voice low. Shifters don't scent mates unless the bond is already forming. Mate. The word punches through me again. He continues, and a bond like that. It only appears under very rare conditions. Magical conditions. Moon conditions. My pulse thunders. And the moment I smelled you on that road, he says, I knew. Knew what? I whisper. His eyes lock onto mine, raw, stripped open, terrified. That my mate was human. My heart stumbles. He steps back, running a shaking hand through his hair. Humans can't bond with shifters, he mutters. It's forbidden. Impossible. Deadly. Deadly. He nods, jaw hard. If the bond isn't completed properly, it destroys the shifter from the inside, turns the wolf feral, uncontrolled, a danger to everyone. And to me? I ask. He swallows. Especially to you. Silence falls so thick I can hardly breathe. Finally, I whisper, Rowan, are you saying if you choose me, if the bond completes? He cuts me off sharply. No, don't finish that. I'm not choosing you. His voice cracks. I can't. The words slice something open in me. Not rejection. Fear. His. Mine. Both. Look at me, I whisper. He doesn't. Rowan. Silver eyes lift to mine. Liquid with conflict so fierce it nearly buckles me. I take a slow step forward, ignoring the pain. You fought off a monster for me, I say softly. You nearly died for me. And when I touched you, Arya. His voice trembles. Don't. You leaned into me. He sucks in a sharp breath. You trusted me, I whisper. Because I couldn't stop myself, he says. That's the problem. I reach for him. He steps back. No. Rowan. No. He shakes his head, breathing harshly. If you touch me right now, I don't know what I'll become. My voice shakes. Why are you so afraid of me? He laughs once. Broken. Disbelieving. Because I am halfway to claiming you already, he admits. It's in my scent. My pulse. The bond is already forming whether I fight it or not. My heart slams in my chest. And if I lose control again, he says, voice dropping to a low, dangerous whisper, I will mark you. I inhale sharply. Mark me, I echo. His eyes darken to molten silver. Claim you, he clarifies. Bind you to me for life. My breath trembles. Is that what you want? He stiffens, every muscle in him going tight like a bow drawn to breaking. Then, quietly, painfully, honestly. Yes, he breathes. Gods, yes. Heat floods my cheeks, my chest, my entire body. But you shouldn't, he adds, voice breaking. And I can't let myself want it. I swallow hard. Why not? His gaze turns haunted. Because the pack will kill you for it. Silence slams into the room. I stare at him, breath gone, world tilting. Kill me, I repeat. He closes the distance between us in 2 furious steps, gripping my arms, carefully, agonizingly gentle despite the desperation in his touch. Yes, he rasps. They will, because I'm human. Yes, and you are not. Arya, he whispers, I am the Alpha. The world goes still, completely still. Rowan's chest heaves, his hands tremble where they hold me, and the truth hangs in the air between us, like a crack in fate. Rowan North isn't just a shifter, he is the Alpha of a pack that will kill his mate, if she's human, which means if the bond finishes, he will choose me, or his pack, and either choice could destroy him. Rowan, I whisper, what do we do? His jaw clenches. His hands slide down my arms, slow, shaking. He cups my face, and his forehead touches mine. Not a kiss, not quite, but close enough that I feel his breath on my mouth. Arya, he murmurs, voice trembling with love he won't let himself speak. I don't know. A single drop of his breath touches my lips, and the bond flares between us like lightning catching dry earth. He jerks back, eyes widening in fear. We're out of time, he whispers. The bond is waking, and once it fully awakens... What? I breathe. He looks at me like a man already doomed. It will drag us together, he says, whether we want it or not. And outside, as if summoned by the truth, a howl rises from the forest. Not a warning. A call. One meant for Rowan. One meant for me. One that says, the pack knows, and they're coming. Chapter 9. The moon chooses its own. The howl outside is long, low, vibrating through the cabin walls like a warning bell. No, like a summons. Rowan goes rigid. His eyes snap toward the window, pupils narrowing to feral slits. His chest rises and falls too fast. Muscles pulled taut under his skin as if bracing for impact. The pack, he mutters. They're already on the ridge. Fear knifes through me. But they can't know. They know, he says, voice low. They would feel it the moment the bond stirred. But we haven't. Rowan, we didn't do anything. He turns to me then, silver eyes bright with something like anguish. You don't have to, he says. The bond doesn't need permission to form. It only needs proximity. My breath catches. Proximity, as in me holding his wolf form, my fingers in his fur, my forehead against his, my whispered words. Oh God, I whisper. Rowan, did I start it? His expression shatters into something raw. It started the moment you touched me, he says, and I didn't stop you. The air between us flares again. Heat, electricity, something older than either of us. Rowan jerks his face away, jaw tightening as he forces the bond back. You need to leave. My heart stops. What? I'll distract the pack. I need you off the mountain before they scent you fully. No. Arya, I'm not leaving you. He grabs my shoulders, desperate. You don't understand. I'm the Alpha. If the pack thinks I've chosen a human, they'll kill me, I finish. You already said that. His fingers tighten, trembling. They won't stop there. My stomach turns to ice. Meaning? They'll challenge me. His voice drops to a hoarse whisper. And the pack doesn't survive an alpha war. Blood leads to more blood. In the end, no one wins. And what if you win? I ask quietly. He just looks at me. Then, the pack would turn on you. And if I lose, my wolf would take you before I die. And I won't risk that. The words hang unsaid between us, thick as smoke. They're not giving you a chance to choose, Rowan murmurs. So I have to make the choice for both of us. No, I say fiercely. You don't. He steps back, running a hand into his hair, like a man cracking under too many fractures. I smell them, he says, nostrils flaring. 4, no, 5. They're on the move. The beta is leading. I swallow. What does he want? Rowan's voice goes flat. To see if the rumor is true. What rumor? That their alpha found a mate. Lightning shoots through my chest. And if he finds me, I breathe, he'll know. Rowan closes his eyes, just for a moment, like the truth physically hurts him. They'll smell the bond on you, he says, inside you. My knees nearly give out, because I can feel something, like a thread tied through my ribs. A pull, subtle, warm, terrifying. Rowan, I whisper, can you break it? The bond? He looks at me, and for the first time, genuine fear flickers across his face. No. Silence punches through me. But, he adds quickly, I can weaken it, if I put distance between us. You want me to run, I say, voice hollow. He nods. And what about you? I'll hold them off, redirect their scent trail. You'll fight them. If I have to. Alone? Yes. I shake my head violently. No, Rowan. I'm not running while you bleed for me again. He steps closer, not touching me, but close enough that the air strains between us. If you stay, he says softly, I will shift. The bond will take hold, and I won't be able to stop myself from marking you. Heat floods my cheeks. Is that bad? His breath trembles. Arya. His voice drops to something rough, intimate, devastating. If I mark you, no one will be able to kill you without killing me. I inhale sharply. That sounds like a good thing. It's not. He shakes his head. The pack will take it as a challenge, a claim without permission. They'll fight for dominance. Everything will fall apart. The truth crashes over me, cold, suffocating, inevitable. The bond ties Rowan's fate to mine, and if the pack gets here before we decide what we are, it will destroy him. Us. A howl rises again, closer this time. Rowan's entire body snaps toward the window. They're minutes away. I move toward him. He backs up as if burned. Don't, he warns. Arya, please. If you come any closer. He stops. His breathing changes, deepens, roughens. His pupils dilate. Oh God. He's shifting again. Rowan, I whisper, look at me. No, stay there. His back hits the wall. His hands claw at the wood. I can't. Arya, I can't control. Rowan. Silver eyes lock onto mine, and the world narrows to that single point of connection. I walk toward him. 1 step. 2. 3. No, he chokes, voice shattering. Don't do this. I won't leave you, I whisper. Arya, you saved me. Let me stand with you. He looks at me like I've broken him open, like I've ruined every wall he ever built. You don't understand, he says, voice barely human now. If you touch me, I will claim you. My breath trembles. Then claim me. His eyes flare, silver igniting into molten steel. Arya, he whispers, stepping closer despite himself. If I put my mark on you, there's no turning back. I know. You'll belong to me. Yes, and I to you. My heart slams. Yes. His chest rises sharply. Shock, desire, terror all tangled. You don't know what you're saying. I do. You don't know what it means. I want you to tell me, I whisper, but not if you're using the explanation as a shield. His jaw locks. You're not protecting me, I say softly. You're protecting yourself. He looks at me like a wound, open, bleeding. I am losing myself, he breathes. Can't you smell it? Feel it. The bond is burning through me. I feel it too. That steals his breath. What? He whispers. I feel it, I repeat. The pull, the heat, the want. Rowan shudders. His hand lifts, shaking violently, hovering inches from my cheek. Arya, he says, voice breaking into something utterly vulnerable. If I touch you, I will not stop. I lean closer, lips brushing the air between us. Then don't stop. His breath stutters. The shift surges under his skin. He lets out a guttural, broken sound, half growl, half plea. And then one palm cups my face. I gasp. The bond slams through me like lightning striking open sky. Rowan groans, head dropping forward until his forehead presses to mine, the touch shaking with everything he's held back. The air bursts alive. Heat, scent, electricity. My ribs ache. My skin tingles. My heartbeat matches his. A soft, involuntary whine escapes him. "Arya," he breathes, "you're mine." I tremble. Yes. His lips brush my cheek. Not a kiss. A claim whispered into skin. Then his body jerks. His breath chokes. "No," he gasps, pulling back. No, I can't. Arya, get away. I can't stop." The shift rips through him. His bones pop. His muscles shudder. Silver floods his eyes. I stumble back as the alpha inside him surges to the surface. And then a thunderous pounding hits the front door. The pack. Rowan's head snaps toward the sound. Wolf rising, alpha awakening, instinct burning. He turns to me, halfway between man and beast, voice guttural. "Hide." I shake my head. "No." He snarls, actual fear in it. "Hide. Now." The door cracks. Rowan steps in. Front of me. The alpha's eclipsing everything human left in him. The pack is here, and the bond is awake. Chapter 10. The alpha stands between us and the pack. The front door thunders again, a crack splintering across the wood, a deep snarl vibrating through the beams. Rowan stands in front of me, half shifted, barely human. His spine curves forward, muscles rippling beneath skin that flickers between man and wolf. His breathing is ragged, hot bursts of steam in the cold air pouring through the cracks of the cabin. Silver burns in his eyes, a warning, a promise, a battlefield waiting to spill open. "Arya," he growls, voice broken, "you need to hide. I'm not leaving you. This isn't a choice." His claws, actual claws now, scrape the floorboards. They smell you. They smell us. If they break through while you're beside me... He cuts off, snarling low in his throat. I touch the back of his arm, just barely. He jerks, a guttural sound ripping from him as if the bond surges at the contact. His head bows forward, trembling. "Don't. Please. If you touch me now, I'll shift the rest of the way." "Then shift," I whisper. His head snaps toward me, eyes wild, shining, pained. "No," he says, voice shaking. "If I shift fully, if they see you beside me, I won't be able to stop myself from marking you in front of them." My breath catches. "And if you do that," I ask softly, "they'll kill you, and I'll burn the entire mountain trying to stop them." The door slams again. A deep voice booms from outside. "Alpha, open the door." Rowan freezes, muscles locking. His beta. I feel the authority in the voice, a command layered in ancient instinct. Even I feel the ripple of it in my skin, like static. Rowan steps forward, shaking off the compulsion with a visible tremor. "Arya," he whispers, "hide behind the staircase. Do not come out unless I tell you." "No." "Yes." His voice breaks. "I can't protect you if I'm worried you're behind me." "You'll worry anyway." He closes his eyes in agony. "Yes, but at least you'll be alive." The pounding intensifies. Wood splinters. Claws scrape. The pack is seconds from breaking in. I swallow the fear trying to climb my throat and nod. Rowan exhales, shaking, relieved, tortured, and presses a hand to my cheek with rough, trembling gentleness. "You run only if I say run," he murmurs. "Rowan, I'll find you," he says hoarsely. "No matter what happens. You understand me? I will always find you." The door cracks down the center. I force myself backward. slipping behind the staircase as Rowan steps away from me. His body expands again, bare skin flickering with fur, his spine arching as he fights the shift with everything inside him. He plants himself between the door and where he knows I'm hiding. "One last time," he says. "No fear, Arya. Not from you, not of me." And then the door explodes inward. Wood shards, cold air, snow whipping into the cabin. 5 figures stand framed in the moonlight. Broad, massive, half-shifted men with eyes glowing gold, amber, frost blue. And at the front, a towering man with dark streaked hair and scars clawed down one cheek. His Beta. The moment they scent Rowan's half-shift, the moment their glowing eyes sweep the cabin, everything changes. The Beta bares his teeth. Alpha. Rowan's voice is a rough growl. "Step back." The Beta steps forward. We smell a bond. Rowan doesn't flinch. "Then step back." The Beta snarls. "Where is she?" A growl rips through Rowan. Deep, feral, protective in a way that makes the floorboards vibrate. Not 1 step closer. The Beta's eyes widen, and then narrow with recognition. "You're protecting her," he breathes. "The rumors are true." Rowan's teeth lengthen. "You know nothing." "A human?" the Beta snarls. "You damn us all for a human?" A low, deadly sound rolls out of Rowan. "She is mine." The Beta freezes. So do the others. The words hang in the air, heavy, final, unbreakable. "You said it," the Beta whispers. "In front of us all. You said the words." Rowan's body jerks as if realizing what he's done. The bond doesn't just flare its spoken claim. It locks. A gasp leaves me. Oh, God. He didn't mean to say it. Not out loud. Not in front of them. The pack erupts. Growls, shouts, the thundering pulse of instinct. Rowan roars, the sound shaking the cabin walls. The Beta steps forward, eyes blazing. Then by law, by moon, by blood, she must be brought before the pack. "No," Rowan snarls. "She threatens our future." "She is my future." The room goes silent. The Beta's voice lowers, dangerous. "Then you force the challenge." Rowan's entire body stills. His pupils narrow. "No," he says. "Not tonight." "Tonight," the Beta insists, stepping fully into the cabin. "Now." The other wolves spread out like a semicircle, boxing Rowan in. I want to scream, to run, to throw myself between them. But Rowan's last command holds me like a tether. Run only if I say run. The Beta lifts his chin. "If you resist, I invoke the right." Rowan's voice is barely human. "Dare it. And I end you." "The right," the Beta repeats, eyes gleaming, "to challenge the Alpha for the pack." A cold rush of dread slams into me. Challenge. To the death. "No," I whisper. The Beta raises a hand. 2 wolves break toward the hallway. Toward me. Rowan moves first. A blur of claws, muscle, moonlight. Colliding with the largest wolf before he reaches the stairs. The cabin erupts into chaos. Snarls. Crashes. The sharp smell of blood. Splintering wood. Cracking bone. Rowan's roaring voice tearing through the air. I can't stay hidden. Not while they try to kill him. Not while he fights for me. I make it 3 steps out from behind the staircase and stop dead. Because Rowan has 1 wolf pinned by the throat, another by the shoulder. But the Beta is stalking toward him from behind. Silent. Lethal. "Rowan!" I scream. Rowan whirls, but too late. The Beta leaps, and I do the one thing Rowan told me not to do. I run toward him, straight into danger, straight into the fight, straight into the bond, and Rowan sees it. He sees me. His eyes widen. Horror, love, instinct all crashing through him, and something inside him snaps. The shift slams through him fully. bones cracking, fur erupting, silver eyes blazing with pure alpha fury. He launches himself into the air, bigger, faster, more powerful than any wolf in the room, colliding with the beta mid-strike. The impact shakes the entire cabin, and I realize the truth a second too late. This isn't a challenge anymore. It's a war, and Rowan is willing to tear apart his own pack to keep me alive. Chapter 11. Blood Moon Judgment. The cabin explodes into violence. Not chaos. Violence. Raw. Primordial. The kind written into bone long before language learned how to name it. Rowan, in full alpha form now, is a monster of shadow and moonlight. Bigger than any wolf I've ever seen. Bigger than the beta. And bigger than the ones circling him. Bigger than the nightmare that stalked me in the forest. His silver eyes burn like twin eclipses. And every one of them, every wolf in this cabin, is trying to tear him apart. Because of me. "Rowan!" I scream as he and the beta crash into the far wall, splintering the wood like it's made of paper. He responds instantly, even mid-battle, even surrounded, even injured. His eyes snap to me, and something ancient snarls to life in him. Not fury, not fear, possession. His next roar is pure alpha, a sound so powerful the other wolves falter, their ears flattening instinctively. But the beta shakes it off first. Scarred, massive, eyes burning amber. He lunges. Rowan meets him midair, two titans colliding in an explosion of fur and teeth. Their bodies tumble across the floor, wolves scattering from the impact. I can feel the bond ripping through me, fear pounding down the line like lightning, Rowan's instincts slamming into my bones, my pulse matching his. He's fighting for breath, fighting for dominance, fighting for me. "Stop!" I shout. "Please, stop!" But wolves don't stop for voices. They stop for blood. And the beta wants Rowan's. Two subordinate wolves circle behind Rowan's flank. They're going for a kill strike. "Behind you!" I scream. Rowan whirls with unbelievable speed, ripping into one wolf's shoulder and sending him flying into the fireplace in a shower of sparks. The second lunges for Rowan's exposed side. I move before I can think. "Hey!" I shout, grabbing a broken chair leg from the wreckage and smashing it into the wolf's ribs. It does nothing. He barely feels it. He turns toward me. Eyes gold, lips curled, fangs bared. He crouches. He leaps. And Rowan snaps. In a blur, he slams into the wolf midair, tearing him off course, throwing him into the dining table so hard it explodes into splinters. The wolf wheezes, stunned. Rowan stands over me, enormous and furious, his growl shaking the floor. He presses his massive body against me, not pushing, not attacking but shielding, tucking me under his chest, his belly, his entire weight. A barrier. The pack sees it. The beta sees it. And everything stops. Even the fire seems to freeze. The beta's amber eyes widen, fury flashing through them. "No," he snarls. Once, twice, louder. "No." Rowan answers with a roar that tears the air apart. The beta's voice drops into something darker, pack law embodied. "You claimed her," he spits. "You speak the claim, before the pack, before the moon, before the bond completes." Rowan's hackles rise, muscles trembling with restraint. The beta bares his teeth. Then the challenge is blood-bound. My blood runs cold. Rowan moves slightly, angling his body to hide me more fully. The beta's gaze burns straight into Rowan's. "Alpha North," he declares in a voice that shakes the rafters. "You have chosen a human, and by doing so, you have broken the moon's law." Rowan's wolf snarls, a sound like mountains splitting. The beta's voice crescendos. "By law of Fang and Moon, By law of pack and blood, you are challenged. Every wolf in the room howls in agreement. My breath freezes. They're invoking the ancient right, a fight to the death. Rowan pushes me gently, firmly, backward with his head. I stumble in shock. Rowan, no, don't you dare. He shifts, not fully back to human. Not quite, but enough. Bones crack. Fur recedes. His massive form shrinks until he's half wolf, half man, panting, bleeding, shaking. Silver eyes lock onto mine. "Arya," he rasps, voice gravel in agony. "Run." "No." His jaw flexes. "Run." I take a step toward him. He flinches like I stabbed him. "Arya, if you stay, if you come closer, if I smell your fear, my control will break entirely. And if I mark you in front of them..." His breath shakes. "They'll tear you apart before I can shift." The beta steps forward, power rolling off him like a wave. "Choose, Rowan. Your mate, or your pack." Rowan's head snaps toward him, fangs bared, snarl ripping from his chest. Then he looks back at me. His eyes soften, break, bleed, love. He doesn't say it. He doesn't have to. The bond hums between us, raw, hungry, unfinished, undeniable. "Rowan," I whisper, "I'm not running from you." He closes his eyes, pained. "You're not running from me," he says. "You're running for me. I won't leave you to die." "You won't." He takes a shuddering breath. "Because I'm not dying tonight." His eyes harden into steel. "But if you stay, I will lose." My heart cracks. Not because I don't believe in him, but because he believes in me. "Arya," he says, voice reverent, trembling, "you are my mate, my bond, my breath." My throat closes. "And if the pack kills me," he whispers, "there will be no one left to protect you." The beta's howl cuts through the air. The challenge begins now. Rowan takes one last step, toward me. His forehead presses against mine, just like when he was a wolf. The bond burns through us. "Find the lake," he murmurs. "Hide in the old moon cave. The pack won't scent you there." "Rowan, go." "I can't." His voice breaks. "Please." The cabin shakes as wolves close in. Rowan draws himself up, the shift tearing through his body again. The alpha rises, fur, muscle, fangs, fire. He doesn't look back. Not once. He roars, a sound that makes every wolf in the room flatten to the floor for a heartbeat. And in that heartbeat, I run, not away from him, but for him. The fight behind me explodes into violence. Rowan's snarl, the beta's roar, bodies crashing, claws raking, bones hitting wood. I stumble into the forest, branches whipping my face, my ribs screaming with pain. But I run anyway, because Rowan asked me to, because if I stay, I doom us both, because the bond is not done, not yet, and if I survive, he will find me. Chapter 12. The Last Stand of the Alpha. The forest swallows me whole. Branches lash my arms, roots claw at my shoes. My lungs burn with cold air, every breath slicing through my bruised ribs. But I don't stop. I can't stop. Behind me, the cabin erupts with violence. Snarls, roars, wood splintering, bodies slamming into walls. Rowan's voice rips through the night, his alpha roar tearing something deep inside me wide open. He's fighting for me, bleeding for me, because of me. I wipe blood from my cheek as I reach the ravine. The moon hangs low, heavy, watching, maybe judging, maybe waiting. The old lake lies ahead, frozen over, the ice a sheet of pale glass, and beyond it, the moon cave, Rowan's secret sanctuary, a place the pack can't scent. My boots slip on the frozen moss, but I push harder, stumbling down the final slope toward the lake's edge. Then a howl splits the air behind me. Close. Too close. My blood turns to ice. I spin. A wolf bursts through the trees, taller than any natural creature, eyes burning amber, teeth dripping with moonlit hunger. Not Rowan. The beta. My breath falters. No. 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 Rowan said you wouldn't. He growls, low and lethal. You think a cave will hide you. His voice rumbles through the wolf shape, deep, distorted, but clear enough. He circles me slowly, steam curling from his jaws. You carry the scent of a bond not meant to be. A snarl. You carry his scent. My legs shake. Get away. I cannot. His eyes narrow. You are a threat to the pack. A branch snaps behind him. Another wolf emerges. Smaller, russet-furred, panting as though it ran hard to catch up. A subordinate. It whimpers at the sight of me. Beta, it urges. The alpha won't forgive this. He made his choice, the beta roars, whipping around. He broke law. Now I break him. He turns back toward me, just as a growl splits the air so violently the ground vibrates. The trees behind him explode outward. A massive black wolf slams into the clearing. Rowan. But not the Rowan who shielded me, or the Rowan who begged me to run. This Rowan is monstrous, colossal, drenched in blood and moonlight. His silver eyes blaze with something feral and absolute, the true alpha. He bares his teeth, and the world seems to stop. The beta falters, just for a breath. And Rowan launches. Fur and fangs collide in an explosion of force that makes the frozen lake crack under our feet. The beta slashes across Rowan's shoulder. Rowan bites into the beta's flank. Bone snaps. Blood spatters the snow. I stagger backward, heart pounding, helpless as the two wolves tear into each other with primal fury. "Rowan!" I scream. "Please, please don't die." He hears me. He always hears me. For a moment, the briefest flicker, his eyes turn to mine, and that split second is enough. The beta lunges, jaws locking around Rowan's throat. "No!" I scream. Rowan goes down hard, the ice beneath him cracking. The beta's growl deepens. Victory, dominance, death closing in, until I scream his name. Rowan. The bond ignites. A shockwave tears through me so strong I fall to my knees. The beta freezes. Rowan's eyes flare. Silver, blinding, burning. And a surge pulses between us like lightning traveling through earth. His strength slams back into him, and he throws the beta off in a burst of impossible force. The beta tumbles across the ice, yelping. Rowan rises slowly, shaking, bleeding, but impossibly alive. His gaze finds mine, and something ancient awakens in the air between us. I feel it before I understand it. His need, his fear, his love, and beneath it all, the instinct to claim, to protect, to choose. Rowan's lips pull back in a snarl that is somehow both savage and heartbreakingly human. The beta scrambles to stand. "Alpha!" Rowan leaps. His jaws clamp around the beta's throat. Silence. The beta doesn't fight. He knows. He lost. Rowan holds him there, not killing him, but long enough for every wolf in the forest to feel it. The alpha stands. The challenge is ended. The bond protected. The human defended. Finally, Rowan releases him, stepping back. The beta collapses to the snow, whimpering, head bowed. Submission. The subordinate wolf follows, lowering itself instantly, then another, and another. One by one, the pack emerges from the trees, some bleeding, some trembling, and every single one bows. To him. To their alpha. Rowan turns slowly, toward me. He shifts. Not the violent tearing from before. Not desperation. Not pain. This shift is controlled, powerful, a king returning to his true form, and when he stands before me, he is Rowan again, wounded, bloodied, breathing hard. But Rowan, he approaches carefully, as if afraid to break me. "Arya," he whispers, voice raw. "Are you hurt?" I shake my head too fast. I thought he was going to kill you." He pulls me into his arms. I collapse against him, clutching fistfuls of his torn shirt, sobbing into his chest. "Never," he murmurs into my hair, voice shaking. "I will never let them take me from you, or you from me." The bond pulses between us, warm, whole, alive. "Rowan," I breathe, lifting my head. "Are we—" He cups my face, blood-stained hands trembling. "Yes," he whispers. "The bond is formed." My heart stutters. "Does that mean—" "It means you are mine," he murmurs, forehead touching mine, "and I am yours." I inhale shakily. "What about the pack?" He glances behind him. Every wolf has lowered itself into a bow, heads dipped, throats exposed. Acceptance, submission, allegiance. "They bow to you too," Rowan says softly, brushing a tear from my cheek. "You are the alpha's mate. You are under the pack's protection now." I choke on a breath. "But I'm human." "Human," he agrees. "And destined." His thumb traces my jaw. The moon chooses its own. My chest aches with something too big, too wild. "Rowan," I whisper, "I choose you too." He exhales like he's been drowning for years. And then, finally, he kisses me. Slow, desperate. A lifetime of restraint breaking. The forest seems to hold its breath. The bond hums like a heartbeat echoing between two souls. And when Rowan pulls back, pressing his forehead to mine, his voice is nothing but truth. "You are my mate," he whispers, "my equal, my heart, my future." I smile through tears. "My alpha." He shudders. The pack howls behind us. Not a challenge, not a warning, but a vow, a promise, a beginning. Rowan lifts me gently, carrying me away from the blood-stained snow. "Come," he murmurs. "Let me take you home." And for the first time, I know where home is. Not a cabin, not a place, but him.